Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. This is Lifestyle Critic, where we break down movies and TV shows into their core elements, and in this video we are going to be reviewing the latest movie from Walt Disney Animation Studios, Raya the Last Dragon, which is just absolutely incredible. I mean, the mythology, the magic, the creatures, the characters, the adventures that all of these characters go on is absolutely incredible, and you really are connected into this magical world. I mean, it's not a perfect movie. There are a few moments that are a little bit predictable, and I do feel like it could have packed a little bit more of an emotional punch. But that being said, it is definitely Disney at its best, and I cannot wait to break it down for you in this movie review. So from a storyline point of view, Raya the Last Dragon is absolutely incredible. It's very mystical, very involved, and you go on this incredible journey with the Raya character throughout, which is really, really cool. It's split into 3 timelines. The first one is set 500 years ago, when all of the different tribes were living in perfect harmony with all of the different dragons in a location called Kamunda. Suddenly, out of nowhere, this evil force known as the Droon suddenly appeared, and it grows by sucking people's life force and dragons' life force and turning them into stone. All of the dragons decided to sacrifice themselves and combine all of their power into this magical crystal dragon orb. Humans being humans then all fought each other in their different tribes to see who is going to be able to look after this dragon orb. 500 years later, and history tries to repeat itself with all of the different tribes fighting each other again for the crystal orb. This time it shatters into loads of different pieces. The Droon comes back and starts petrifying people into stone again, and the different tribes each take a different piece. 6 years later, a more grown up Raya is now trying to find all of the different pieces, trying to reunite the crystal orb, trying to find the last dragon to see if they're still alive, and to try to reunite all of the people so that they can once again live in perfect harmony in Kamunda. So an absolutely brilliant storyline for Raya the Last Dragon. So from a cast and characters point of view, all of the different cast members do brilliant voice acting in this movie. You are so immersed into the world of Raya the Last Dragon, and one of the main reasons is because there are just such brilliant voice acting in this movie. So let's go through them one by one. So first up we have Raya, who is brilliantly voiced by Kelly Marie Tran, and Raya is now an orphan after the catastrophic events that happened in her hometown. And like I said, in this movie she is trying to reunite all of the pieces of the crystal orb, trying to find the last dragon and to try to reunite the people of Kamunda. I love the fact that she's got understandable trust issues after what happened a couple of years ago, which definitely forms part of the storyline going forward for this character. Next up we have Awkwafina, who did a brilliant job as the dragon Sisu. A very innocent character, a very goofy character, always believing the best in people and in creatures. And I love the fact that different elements of the crystal orb will trigger a different magical power within the Sisu character, which is really, really cool. We then have the character of Namari, who was brilliantly voiced by Gemman, and she was definitely a rival to the Raya character. There are loads of different confrontations between Raya and Namari across the movie. They're all really, really intense, and you can definitely feel the weight that both of these characters have in terms of representing their 2 different tribes and trying to save their own people, and definitely have their own missions and objectives in this film as well. Next up we have the Droon, who you could argue are the main villains of this film. This mystical force that is trying to suck everyone's life force, turning them into stone, and as a result are growing. And you can definitely feel the intensity and the fear that all of the different characters and creatures have whenever the Droon come into play. Next up we have Con Baby and her little 3 pet animals that initially cause Raya and Sisu a lot of chaos, but then they're kind of part of their team, which is really, really great. We also have Bound. He's a little bit of a streetwise character that initially Raya also has trust issues with, but then is also kind of part of her team. We have Tudyk, who's the only reliable character slash pet that Raya is known from the beginning of her life, and this character definitely helps Raya in a lot of sticky situations, even when she was a young girl to when she's a formidable adult as well, which I thought was really, really interesting. And then finally we have Chief Benja, who's definitely the wise character of this movie. He plays Raya's father and definitely gives her purpose and something to fight for throughout this film. So from a cast and characters point of view, Raya the Last Dragon is absolutely awesome. So from a visuals point of view, Raya the Last Dragon honestly looks absolutely incredible. The animation that they've done in this film just really feels so realistic, and you're just so immersed in this world, and it looks absolutely incredible. I love the fact that you go to different lands across this movie, and I love how they use that as a little bit of a separating chapter device across this film, which looks absolutely incredible. It does feel like a little bit of an adventure game in terms of going to different areas on a bit of a quest mission. All of the magical powers that Sisu is able to trigger when she gets different aspects of the dragon orbs looks really, really cool. Like I said, all of the fight sequences are very elaborate, look absolutely realistic with all of the different camera work and the textures, and everything just looks really, really cool from that point of view. All of the chase sequences, especially Raya and Tudyk having to run away from some very terrifying situations, all of that looks really, really cool. And even the water looks absolutely amazing. There are some really nice sequences towards the end of this movie that Sisu the dragon does with water in particular, which looks absolutely incredible. So from a cinematography point of view, Raya the Last Dragon is absolutely brilliant. So from a comparison point of view, a lot of people are saying, why isn't Raya the Last Dragon a bit of a musical Disney movie? But I feel like it works so much better without all of the musical aspects in this film, as it's got such a brilliant, enticing plot and loads of brilliant sequences in this movie that it is able to work without having all of those musical numbers. I feel like you can definitely compare it to other Disney films. So for example, the epic adventure part of it, you can definitely compare to Atlantis. The quest aspect I would even compare to Final Fantasy, and I did kind of feel like some parts of this movie did feel like a bit of a video game. I think you can also compare it to Aladdin in terms of having a funny, magical, larger-than-life type character, which is obviously very similar to the genie character. I think you can also compare it to Mulan in terms of all of the martial arts, and they're having a dragon character in that film as well. In terms of comparing it to the other Disney movies, I don't think it's as good as Aladdin is, but I do think it's a lot better than Mulan, Moana and Pocahontas. So I feel like from a comparison point of view, Raya the Last Dragon is definitely up there. So overall, I really enjoyed Raya the Last Dragon. I didn't know what to expect from it necessarily, but I was really pleasantly surprised. I thought the actual magical journey quest that all of the different characters go on was really, really gripping, really, really enticing. I love the rivalry between all the different characters and the sense of jeopardy when the Droon is just suddenly going to come in and take over everything. I did think it was a little bit too much of a happy ending for me, but that being said, I do feel like it's a really awesome movie, and I cannot wait to see where all of these different characters are going to go next. But as far as Raya the Last Dragon, the movie, is concerned, I have to give it a solid 7 out of 10. I'd love to hear what you think, so please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.